Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. It's time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Moshe Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, then you'll love Missing by Mian Moshe Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries with 2 strangers and 1 target where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Moshe Zia has garnered great reviews and is even loved by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Order Missing by Mian Moshe Zia, now available at Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give a shout out to official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Moshe Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mian Moshe Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Moshe Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today, Missing by Mian Moshe Zia, available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. Heard worldwide on Geo 7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel and follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a wonderful gentleman who is a well-known photographer. He's based out of New York City, and he's the director of photography and the co-publisher of LongIslandPortfolio.com. And he's also got a magazine out, and he also covers many artists, does interviews and art stories, and helps artists along the way of every kind promote themselves in their art form. And he's also been a director of photography for 3 indie shoots, and also supports a number of charities. And he's got an amazing background. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about his project, Long Island Portfolio, and also what's upcoming, and supports a number of charities and more. Live from the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown New York City, the very, very multi-talented photographer here on the Mike Wagner Show, the very talented Alex Wolff. Alex, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, hey, Mike, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much. Great introduction. Appreciate it.
Well, it's great to have you on board, too. After reading your impressive resume, I have to say that I just love to sit down and talk to you as well, too, over a nice cup of coffee and, just, be a little casual. So, well, let's talk more about what you have. So you're a director of photography, and you're also a co-publisher of LongIslandPortfolio.com. You cover artists, interviews, and also art stories. You help artists along the way of every kind to promote themselves and their art form. And you're also director of 3 indie shoots, and also supports a number of charities. And you do a lot of work for the community and also for photography as well. And before we get into all that, Alex, tell us how I first got started.
Well, that's an interesting story. Back in 1965, I got a Kodak Hawkeye Instamatic camera from my parents for my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing photography mostly on the side until 2012, but bought a studio back in 2012 and focused only on the photography and photography related stuff since then.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole midpoint, I was in corporate America doing, last job was 18 years for a multinational $10 billion company called Coty, where I was manager of sales technology. So I had a lot of fun doing computers, which all leads very well into photography these days.
Mm-hmm. And that's so amazing. And what was that one moment that precisely influenced you into what you're doing for the rest of your life, besides your mom and dad giving you a camera at 6? So what was that one moment that simply said to you, this is what you can do, this is what you can do for the rest of your life?
Well, gee, there was no moment. It's really a slow gathering of pieces. When you work at one thing, like in corporate America, you find things to the side. I'd say the biggest thing that got me to start working with people, I was doing a lot of underwater work and artwork, but I was going to a lot of funerals.
Oh, wow.
And as I went to funerals, I would see at the wakes all these pictures of people that were placed everywhere that showed people's lives. And so I really switched at that point from being only an art, landscape, underwater photographer to a people photographer. I wanted to help people have really great memories and to cross that bridge and that gap, the generation gap between parents, grandparents, children, and grandchildren, introduce generations to each other. And I get to do that with portraits, event photography, even for businesses, making sure there's continuity and people know who they were, what the history is. Very important to me.
Mm-hmm. It does sound very important as well, too. And you also cover like with the arts, the underwater shoots, and whatever else. So how about some other forms of photography you got involved in, like say with nature or anything along those lines?
Well, that really comes from Jacques Cousteau. Back in the 60s, there was Flipper and Jacques Cousteau, Sea World of Jacques Cousteau. I was living in Brooklyn, not a lot of chances to scuba dive, but we have one of the better aquariums in the New York Zoological Society in Coney Island, very close to where I lived. So I had a lot of exposure to that and fish. And it really just caught my eye, being able to capture images that would introduce, I guess, people to animals that they don't normally see.
Mm-hmm. That is very interesting as well, too. And who are some of your favorite photographers growing up?
Avedon, I guess, would be number one. Annie Leibovitz, although she'd say that she's not that much older than me, but she really made a very big impact, especially with entertainers and musicians.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back, Ansel Adams. A lot of people don't realize that Ansel Adams did a lot of digital work in his later career, and he's responsible for something called the zone system, which was getting the most tone value out of a black and white image.
Oh, wow.
And when you look at a lot of his famous works, you could see that it's not just the camera, it's what you do afterwards that counts. And that holds true today in digital photography.
Mm-hmm. And of course, how do you compare the photography that you done in the past to digital today? So in terms of quality and whatever else, it's like easy to work with, or you wish it was more authentic. So just your personal comparison.
So I used to be in what I would call the capture mode. Everything had to be perfect in camera, and as a result, the roll of film only had 36 exposures. And if I had 1 out of 72, one image that was really great out of 3 rolls of film, that's 2 rolls of film, I would have been very satisfied. And I wound up, because everything had to be so precise, having a lot more almost great photos as opposed to just photos. Mm-hmm. With digital, so I never really liked darkroom work, but the digital darkroom gives you a lot more flexibility to work and undo stuff and not have to start from scratch with every little mistake. So I find that I can get more keepers, more wonderful pictures. And when I see something, I can, the camera sees what it sees, and it doesn't matter whose camera it is, but the vision of the photographer can be realized much more easily in digital. And a bunch of years ago, I went from that capture mindset to the creative mindset, where now all the pictures I take are only a starting point instead of an end point, so I could create a work of art out of it, as opposed to thinking, I took a picture and I'm done.
Mm-hmm. And of course, speaking of taking pictures and art form, and in the background, we got Long Island Portfolio, and I love what you got. We'll talk about that in just 1 minute. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable, custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Mosin-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Mosin-Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those who love be the first to go missing. It's available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mia Mosin-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved by famous Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Missing by Mia Mosin-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. Heard worldwide on Geo 7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with the well-known photographer based out of New York City, Alex Wolff, here on The Mike Wagner Show, talking about a little bit about his background. And what he's really passionate about is he's being co-publisher and director of photography called LongIslandPortfolio.com. And first of all, tell us all about it.
It's a passion play. COVID came around. A lot of photographers, myself included, had diminished work. I'm one of those guys who does all types of photography. I do events, I do product photography, I do food photography. So it was kind of easy to switch to some of that photography. Clients still deliver products to my house for shooting, but I was also doing a lot of shooting. I still do personal branding photography for a magazine called Model Citizens Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
That magazine helps philanthropists promote themselves, their business, and their charities in the community. So it's really helping to give people back. And every month that magazine is sold out. And I was thinking, well, who do I really want to help? Those are great people to help. They're positioned fairly well. But I know so many artists. The galleries are closed. The museums are closed. My daughter's an artist. My wife's an artist. I'm an artist. What can I do to help the art community?
Mm-hmm.
And from that, talking to the publisher, John Dowling of Model Citizens Magazine, he said, I have this website named Long Island Portfolio. You're welcome to use it. So I could have turned it into anything that I wanted. And I said, that sounds like a great magazine to support the arts.
It does sound interesting, but go ahead and continue on. It sounds like you're really passionate about it.
Oh, absolutely. So the goal of the magazine is to help artists of every kind, and I'm going to clarify that, help promote themselves and their work from Montauk to Manhattan, right? So that's Long Island and New York City. Most of the artists that we work with actually live here, produce here, but we do have some artists from outside the area who we help promote in the area because of their commissioned work, and they work from, let's say, photos. They can get a commission from anywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So we have commissioned artists that we work with here on the island, and we actually just signed someone up just yesterday from Wisconsin.
Wow, amazing.
So it's an interesting thing for someone to advertise it in Wisconsin as a painter, which you think of as an in-person kind of work, is advertising out in Long Island to get commissions as well as to sell their artwork. So we help build their brand here on the island. And, the truth is most artists, myself included, are not all that great at promoting themselves or their work. And we're not necessarily the best business people. So we're all able to help our friends. We're all able to talk about other people's work. So I thought I'd make it easy, and I would take that burden for a lot of these artists who don't even really know the best way to price their work, let alone how to sell it and how to be successful as an artist.
Mm-hmm. And how does one artist or photographer get their works featured on a Long Island portfolio? What do they have to do in order to submit?
Well, that's anyone could send us a note saying that that they're an artist of any kind, and just let us evaluate their work. We the questions that we generally ask, we're not critics. If someone considers themselves an artist, they consider what they have in art, we will help them share it. We have, because you can't share things on social media like nudity or pornography, so we really don't push that. But art can be edgy. In the magazine, in our first issue, we had a performance artist, a couple of painters, a singer-songwriter, Jeffrey Steele, who is most known for his work in country music, but he's a rocker from way back, really talented guy. Billy Mirror and the Hitmen. He does a Las Vegas style music show. He used to be on the Howard Stern show. That we have two photographers in there, not other than myself. We really do promote everybody, and we talk about food and other types of issues. And we talked about the difference between creative, capture and create, as I mentioned earlier. And our featured artist, covered artist, Robin Bellisperito, does 4 or 5 different types of art. We talked about collaborations that we did. And we try to capture, we do an interview with the artist so that we can get a good story for them. We do 4K video, we share those, as well as transcribe those for the written article, put them on our blog, and then create a PDF format magazine that we distribute.
Mm-hmm. And you also do it for real estate as well, too. Now, is this for helping people sell their house, or also to just feature their house? And you also listed you have services as real estate. Do you do it to help sell people's houses, or?
Yeah, I do as I mentioned, all types of photography. That includes real estate. It includes underwater. Hopefully the real estate's not underwater.
Well, it could happen one day. You never know. I mean, if Jacques Cousteau was still around, he could build an underwater mansion, maybe take up half the Atlantic Ocean or the Hudson for all we know.
For all we know. And I also do drone work. So I just had done some real estate houses for House Hunters, a show on TV. Three houses out here. I did the drone portion, which is only like 3 seconds of their show, but it's good to be recognized and called on from national groups. But the real estate magazine, my partner has another magazine called the Long Island Journal, which focuses on the people who buy and sell real estate, mostly the real estate brokers, mortgage brokers. It helps build their brand in the area instead of focusing on the house. And the photography is amazing, but really the stories are about the people who who work the market. Again, it's a little bit self-promotional for those people, but the goal is to spread people's names and help get them business. It's help everybody do better, especially in this economy.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of the economy and real estate, how's the real estate market going in New York and New Jersey?
I couldn't speak to Jersey. I'm not there so much because of the quarantines and all. But Long Island, it's mixed. There's inventory is low. People have been selling. We sold my mother-in-law's house in Brooklyn recently. Mm-hmm. It went for about $1 million, which is about that's what you think of as $1 million house where you are is very different than $1 million house where I am.
It can apply to anybody too. So when you say $1 million, like
it sounds like the house would have been a big mansion, but the house was on a 30 foot by 70 foot lot. Mm-hmm. So very small, but it was standalone, a shared driveway. Not a whole lot of house for when you think about it. When you think about small houses in San Francisco, they also go for much more than you would think of when you look at rural America. So the market's pretty good. A lot of I saw one guy had 5 closings in 4 weeks.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, so people are closing. The banks are a little bit slow in processing, and that's so what you see is a lot of delays because of what happened between March and August. All right, so with those delays, all of a sudden everything's falling into place. The courts are opening, the clerks are working, so things could actually happen, and that's a recovery.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like an amazing recovery too. And how can people get a hold of Long Island Portfolio and also Long Island Journal?
Oh, that's kind of easy. My email address is alex@longislandportfolio.com. It's spelled exactly the way it sounds, and you can just go to the website and contact me through that. I've got phone calls, of course, the website, and if you look up Alex M. Wolff on Google, I'm all over the place.
We certainly will do so, and we're here with photographer Alex Wolff, director of photography and co-publisher of LongIslandPortfolio.com and the Mike Wagner Show, and we'll be back in 1 minute to talk about his work in some indie shorts and also some of the charities he's helped out. We'll be back with photographer Alex Wolff in 1 minute on the Mike Wagner Show after this timeout.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionsea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple, and more. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn, where The Mike Wagner Show interviews great guests, cool conversation, lots of laughs, coffee, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device, subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today.
Hey, this is Ray Powers. And if there's one thing you can count on in these unpredictable times, it's that you're in good hands getting some great radio, courtesy of The Mike Wagner Show.
We're back with Alex Wolff, photographer and director of photography, and also co-founder of LongIslandPortfolio.com here on the Mike Wagner Show. Just an amazing photographer, had some great stories to share, and also helping out artists in many ways. And you also help out, supporting charities. But first, you also got involved with some indie shorts, and tell us about some of those.
So I'm a photographer, not necessarily a videographer. But a couple of years ago, one of the places one of the charitable place I support is a place called Cinema Arts Center. I photograph celebrities for them whenever they have book signings. Alan Alda would be an example of someone who's come for one of those. And so my name splashes on their screen during intermission. There's a slide for me. So someone saw my name up there and called me and said, "Hey, I'm doing my first movie and I don't know anything about lighting or cameras or anything." And so that was my first short. It was about 4 years ago. The short was called Moments and wound up in several film festivals, including the Long Island International Film Festival. So that particular director, who's also the author of the movie, Maria Filippono, has had me back for 2 more movies. She appreciates my input on the story, as well as my lighting expertise, and as well as camera angles and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you also support a number of charities as well, too, that you had the Bees, Trees, Water, and also Cerebral Palsy of Nassau County. You also support the Caroline Baldwin Cancer Research Fund through Long Island Hospitality Ball, the Cinema Arts Center, Town-Wide Fund of Huntington. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's almost like a king's scroll. I could just read them off if I wanted to. Maybe just hit upon a few of your charities and tell us about those. If there's a charity or 2 or a few that you're really passionate about, you can tell us about those.
Well, sure. So my wife handled all the charity while I was working in corporate America. I took an early retirement package and started focusing on the photography. I had all this time that I actually wanted to focus on sharing my time with the charities, not just for profit. I was sort of out of the for-profit mode. Mm-hmm. While still in corporate America, I helped a friend start a charity called Bees, Trees, Water. Originally, it was called Clean Water for Kids, actually for children. And what we do is we help communities globally dig deep water wells to get to fresh water. So they have water that is accessible, that's contaminated. But if you go down to 900 feet, 1,000 feet, all of a sudden, they have clean water. And they don't have to travel to get water. So it frees up kids for education, women for doing business and teaching their kids. And we saw that water was only part of the issue. Then we saw that, that they also need other kinds of income. So we started doing bee husbandry and tree planting, fruit trees or mangrove trees when they're in a place with a lot of erosion. And what that does is nursery for little fishes, between shade and fruit. Now, all of a sudden, the people who do not spend all the time gathering water can now actually earn some money And these villages have between 1,000 and 8,000 people. We've got 50 of them done, 55 of them done so far, mostly in the Sundarban region of India, which is by Calcutta, and Bangladesh. Some stuff going on in Africa, and we've even had some stuff done in Cuba.
Wow, that is so amazing. And of course, you talk about, water and the underwater situation and things going on. This just came to mind with you, doing some underwater photography. What would you say your favorite underwater photography story would be, and what was probably the most unusual you ever experienced?
So the most unusual would have been in the Maldives a few years ago. So we have things called liveaboards, where they're small boats, 110, 120 feet, 10, 15 divers are on there, and the crew takes them wherever they have to go. And a big giant manta ray, about 22, 23 feet across, had swam just right in front of us like a bus coming. When I was in about 100 feet of water, doing the same kind of thing in the Gulf of California. I had to rescue one of the divers at 100 feet who had run out of air.
Wow.
We've had, in the Cayman Islands, we've done some beautiful stuff. My favorite, though, has to be my recent trip to Bali, where I was able to go repeatedly to film sharks and ocean sunfish. Big, funny, unusual looking fish, but really, really cool. Just amazing what we see under. And if people go to one of my websites, they could see a lot of the underwater stuff. That's what I like to do most. But in New York, we don't do too much of that.
Right, that's understandable. You're in New York City compared to, say, the Pacific, the Atlantic, and Indian Ocean, wherever you're at. And what would you say your most favorite mammal is, and the most favorite mammal to shoot underwater?
Well, the mammals won't be underwater, but too much. But it's not entirely true. On that same trip, we had to rescue someone in 100 feet. We went to a sea lion rookery underwater, where big giant bulls would set up, keeping pace like a sentry, preventing us from getting closer to where the pups were. But that was actually really awesome, because they're very playful. And, you get to in 1 foot, they are playing with you. And then all of a sudden you cross the line and they're just in your face, pretty much telling you to back off.
Wow.
Not in English, but they're just right there.
Man.
So the mammals in the water. I also like whales. When I was in Australia 2 years ago, the whales were up from Antarctica, humpback whales, just like you have it over in Hawaii, and they came up to us or in the water. That was really crazy. It was so huge.
Humpback whales. I'm gonna have to remember that next time I go swimming. I just have to be gentle to the humpback whale and make sure you play with the pups, but don't play with them too long. So those are some good lessons I'm learning from you. So
yeah. There's just so much out there, and people don't see that. So that's why I do the underwater video and underwater stills. Great passion. I like to just shoot food because I like to eat food. So that always works. And anytime I have an opportunity to work with the charities, I do a lot of golf outings out here. Most of those are charity related. Another good charity out here is a small one, because we talked, Michael Magro Foundation. It's the type of charity that's run by just two people with a bunch of volunteers that raise money to give to families that are experiencing bills or work interruptions to taking care of sick family members, usually kids with cancer or something along those lines. So they help pay the bills that everyone else forgets about. Now, everyone wants to pay for the medical treatment, but what about parking, hotels, the oil delivery, for heat, the mortgage, and they help with that. So being part of that's always great.
That is so amazing. And how about some of the other charities that you support we haven't even talked about or mentioned?
Yeah, some big ones. Leukemia Lymphoma Society. I work with them end of the year for the last couple of years from the New York region. You mentioned Carol Baldwin. We have a charity out here called Pink Tie, which is a bundler. It's a group of people mostly in the real estate industry that worked and have big, giant, wonderful parties when it's not COVID, raise money for charities. And this year, because we couldn't do our big fundraisers, what they did was they delivered food every week to people who needed it due to COVID. So that's an excellent charity as well.
That is an excellent charity. And of course, I got, you talk about food being, one of your favorites as well, too. My boys love to cook. And I think they were kind of upstairs as we were speaking here. And what is some of your favorite food? It's like, talk about food, you shoot food and everything else. So it's like, what is some of your favorite food?
Well, I eat so I've traveled all around the world multiple times. I like Japanese food, and it doesn't matter if it's here or in Japan. I like Chinese food. Chinese food is not the same everywhere. So I like New York Chinese, I like Hong Kong Chinese very much. Like French food. There's really no food I don't like. I like to cook. I didn't mention that I'm a cook, so steaks, seafood, shrimp, lobster. Catch it yourself; it's even better.
We got to do that sometime as well, too, and talk food, take pictures, and whatever else. Do that sometime. And we're here with Alex Wolff, photographer, and also co-founder of LongIslandPortfolio.com on the Mike Wagner Show. A very big thank you for your time. Love to have back on in 2021 and beyond. And just a few more things, Alex, before we go here. We'd love to have you back. You've been great. And what can we expect from you in 2021 and beyond?
Well, the biggest thing this year is building the magazine. Right now we are quarterly and we're working towards monthly. Working on getting more, of course, as you know, advertisers are really important and more artists. And we're trying to keep this year between Montauk and Manhattan. I'm hoping, my fingers are crossed, that I have a record year with golf outings, because they did come back last year. And since they're mostly outdoors, I'm hoping those start up in May and have a good year helping the charities. This year I'm on the golf committee for cerebral palsy of Nassau County. We didn't have our golf outing this past year, but I'm hoping that we have it again this year. We raised about $100,000. So
wow,
it's a really big loss when stuff like that doesn't happen. And I'm hoping to get back traveling. I didn't go anywhere actually, that's not true. I was in Italy in February and the beginning of March, doing some cooking classes with my daughter.
Nice.
And very, very nice. And I'm hoping to be out scuba diving somewhere warm. It was crystal blue water before the season's over.
And lastly, about the magazine you're talking about, how can people help and support your magazine?
Well, we give free. The best thing is we give free subscriptions to everybody because we think that art's important. And anyone who wants to get a free subscription, anyone who wants to share it with their friends, that businesses give it as a gift, that's probably the best way. The second best way is really to help their artist friends and not pass them on to us. Let them know about the magazine, and maybe we can help their artists develop their business. We don't teach art, but we do help artists with the part that they're worst at, which is getting their art out there in the world and building the social media, which is the only way in today's world that you can sell art.
Right. And what's a website that people can send in your art, and what's your website again?
www.longislandportfolio.com. No spaces, spelled just the way it sounds.
And also your other magazine for real estate
is the Long Island Journal. And really the best place to get to there right now, because that website's brand new and isn't always working properly, is at Model Citizens with an S magazine.com. So MODEL CITIZENS magazine.com.
Magazine.com. That is fantastic. We're here with photographer Alex Wolff of LongIslandPortfolio.com. And just a couple of things here. Who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Well, I'd have to say that most currently, would be my co-publisher, John Dowling. He's really helped me focus on the business end of it, to help me. And he's a big influence on my art when it comes to people, because we have different styles and we're working really close together at this point. And, influences change every year. Mm-hmm. And this year, right now, that would be John.
Mm-hmm. And that's very amazing influence. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Best advice?
The best advice you can give to anybody at this point. It can be in general or whatever you think.
Well, the best I've got for people is to just believe in themselves and work for their dreams. If you're not working for it, it's not a goal. If you don't have it, it's not even a wish. If there's something that you're thinking about, go ahead. And if you don't know how to do it, get help.
Mm-hmm. And that's very important as well, too. We're here with Alex Wolff of LongIslandPortfolio.com. Alex, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you back on in 2021 and beyond. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects, what's your website, how do people contact you, and where can people check out your magazine and submit their work?
Michael, thanks very much for having me. Again, it's LongIslandPortfolio.com. I'm Alex at LongIslandPortfolio.com. 516-375-4315. I welcome calls. And I love to talk about photography. It's not all business. It's my passion. If you have a photography question, Photoshop question, feel free to reach out. I'm really very, very happy to help anybody who's trying to get one step beyond where they are today.
Mm-hmm. We certainly will do so. Once again, Alex, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you back on in 2021 and beyond. And don't forget to keep in touch as well, too. You've been absolutely amazing.
For you too, Mike. Thank you very much.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionsea.com. Missing. Available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.